We've been hearing a lot about Meghan's reputation as a boss, and I want to dig in a little bit deeper about that. I'm going to break down a passage from Revenge that I believe perfectly illustrates Meghan Markle's sense of entitlement. It's a moment that speaks volumes about how she views others, their time, and their worth. If this sounds interesting to you, sit back and relax, but before we begin, here's the intro. Welcome to Revealing the Narc. Join me as I highlight narcissistic traits in celebrities and public figures. Everything here is in my opinion and not professional advice. If you enjoy the analysis, please like and subscribe. One of the best examples of Meghan not treating someone well and ghosting them is her relationship with Gina Nelthorpe-Cowne. Gina became Meghan's business advisor, and they eventually became really good friends. Gina really admired Meghan and noticed that Meghan's behavior and attitude started shifting soon after she met Prince Harry. So what I want to do is read you a passage from Tom Bower's book Revenge. This is in chapter 14, and I think it demonstrates Meghan's entitlement to a fascinating degree. So the passage begins. Back at the hotel, Meghan had a new demand. Once her relationship with Harry was known and she spent more time in London, she explained, she would need a special media relations team. I want you to handle it, Gina, said Meghan. Since she had no money, she continued, and the kudos would be immeasurable, she expected her agent to work without payment. Gina politely refused. She was not a PR agency and lacked the staff and expertise. However, she could promise Meghan that once the Harry connection was known, her commercial appeal, especially in America, would increase. Meghan was insulted by Nelthorpe-Cowne's rejection of her proposal, and the passage ends there.
That's a real quick no. That's a hard pass. Absolutely not. Very uninterested in that option.
Now let's analyze this. This is a textbook example of narcissistic entitlement. Meghan expected a professional to dedicate time and resources to her for free. Why? Because she believed her association with Prince Harry was enough of a reward. This is classic narcissistic behavior, viewing others as mere tools for personal gain, dismissing boundaries, and reacting with indignation when denied. Let's break this down further. There's grandiosity displayed in this situation. Meghan assumed her presence alone was valuable enough to justify unpaid labor. There's exploitation happening. She expected her agent to take on a PR role without compensation. And there's also a lack of empathy because when Gina refused, Meghan didn't appreciate her perspective. She took offense instead. Now let's be clear, this isn't just about being ambitious. Many people work hard to climb the ladder, but true ambition doesn't involve stepping on others or expecting free labor. This isn't an isolated incident. We've seen similar patterns, claims of staff mistreatment, ghosting former friends, and reports of demanding behavior behind the scenes, all signs that point to something deeper. Experts on narcissistic personality traits describe this behavior as malignant narcissism, a mix of entitlement, exploitation, and a lack of genuine emotional connection with others. I've repeatedly mentioned that I believe that Meghan Markle is a malignant narcissist, and I say this because she behaves exactly like my stepmom, and these are just the signs of how that manifests. I want to expand on this and make it relevant for all of you. So the first thing I want to do is go into detail a little bit more about malignant narcissism. This isn't just someone with a big ego. It's a mix of narcissism, manipulation, aggression, and sadism. Yes, sadism, meaning they actually enjoy seeing others struggle. These bosses aren't just difficult. They weaponize their power to dominate, exploit, and control their employees. Key traits of a malignant narcissistic boss include grandiosity. They believe they're always the smartest person in the room. A lack of empathy. If you have burnout, stress, or personal struggles, it's not their problem. Manipulation and gaslighting, so they will twist reality so you second guess yourself. Blame shifting. If something goes wrong, it's never their fault, it's yours. Exploitation. They expect unpaid overtime, emotional labor, and absolute loyalty without reciprocation. I want to give you a couple of scenarios. See if you identify with any of these situations. Scenario 1. The boss who takes credit for your work. You stay late, you go the extra mile, and you finally finish a big project. The next morning, Your boss presents it as if they did it all themselves. You get no recognition, no credit, not even a thank you. The translation of this: malignant narcissists thrive on stealing accomplishments. They can't stand the idea of someone else looking good. It has to be them. This goes back to what I've said before. This goes back to something I've said before about Meghan. She is a competitor and not a collaborator. If anyone is doing well, by comparison, she is not doing well and is therefore losing. So she can't really celebrate other people's successes. We've seen countless examples of this, and imagine if she's your actual boss. If she sees you doing well, if she sees you getting accolades, she immediately feels like she is losing. Scenario 2, the gaslighter. You bring up an issue, maybe they gave you unclear instructions or changed their mind last minute. Instead of owning up, they say, I never said that, or you must have misunderstood. Pretty soon, you start doubting yourself. Translation: gaslighting is one of their strongest weapons. They rewrite reality to keep you confused and compliant. Scenario 3, the emotional puppet master. One day, they act like you're a best friend, praising you and making you feel important. The next, they tear you down, they ignore you, or they publicly humiliate you. You never know which version of them you're going to get. Translation: this is intentional. Malignant narcissists use intermittent reinforcement, a mix of kindness and cruelty, to keep you on edge and craving their approval. So how do you protect yourself if you are in a situation and you have a boss like this? Step 1, stop seeking their approval. They want you to need their validation. Don't fall for it. Focus on your own worth and not their shifting opinions. Step 2, document everything. If they gaslight you or change stories, have receipts. Keep emails, messages, and notes from meetings. Step 3, set boundaries and stay professional. Don't engage in their drama. Keep conversations short, direct, and professional. Step 4, build a support system. Connect with coworkers, mentors, or even a therapist who can give perspective. You're not crazy. It's them. And finally, step 5, plan your exit. Let's be real. Toxic bosses rarely change. If possible, strategize your next move and get out before they drain you completely. I know this step is really difficult to do, especially if you're connected to the projects and you really love what you're doing. However, it's highly unlikely that the situation with your boss will get any better. I'm sorry to bring you that negative note. I'm just speaking from my own experience. So I'm curious to know, have you worked for a boss like this? What was the worst thing that they did? Drop your horror stories in the comments if you feel comfortable sharing them, because I do want to hear them. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you want more deep dives into toxic behaviors. I appreciate you listening, and I will talk to you all soon. Goodbye.
People say, I am the best boss. They go, God, we've never worked in a place like this before. You're hilarious. And you get the best out of us.